Hey kiddos, hope everybody's doing well. As always, reach out with any questions or concerns you might have. Our buzzer beater questions, and I hope you guys have been looking at the video notes. Because the first one's about Shi Huangdi. I sent you guys a video link for him. Little bit of a crazy ruler of China. So let's see this question. The rule of Shi Huangdi's legalism and the tomb of terracotta soldiers are most closely associated with, and so it's looking for his family name. This is pronounced Qin. I know it looks like Queen, but it's Qin, and that's actually where the name of China gets its name from. All right, he was the first one to unify the people and geography of China, and that's where the country gets its name from. So the answer for the first one is 2. Second question, a major contribution of the Roman Republic to Western European culture was and this is like totally hard for us because we did not go deep into Rome. But what we have from Rome, the legacy of Rome, is this idea that government should be ruled by laws. All right. The Roman Republic, basically, when the United States created our country, we based it on what Rome did and what John Locke said. And both of those say that we should be governed by laws, not by individuals. All right, throwback. 3 important contributions, inventions or innovations made by the Han Dynasty. And so if you remember from yesterday's notes, we had the invention of paper, which revolutionizes how books are made and how money and currency is used. We had the innovation of the water wheel, using the natural energy, or Mother Nature's energy, to do the work for us. That will eventually get replaced in Britain by the burning of coal. And third innovation was the creation of the Silk Road. That the Han Dynasty believed that cultures and societies should be connected, and that when we trade, everybody is better off. All right, so yesterday was about the achievements of the Han Dynasty. We're now going to talk about the fall of the Han Dynasty, and by fall, I don't mean they tripped. This is when the Han Dynasty loses its power. And so we've seen like a bunch of different images of the dynastic cycle. This kind of looks like the one that you might have seen from like an ELA class, like the arc of a story, beginning, conflict, apex, resolution. That applied to the Han Dynasty as well. So they came to power. They did great things, which we talked about yesterday in terms of their innovations. But then just like every other royal family, there's going to be some corrupt leaders, some natural disasters are going to happen, and they're eventually going to fall. So what led to the fall of the Han Dynasty? Well, one, they were unfair to the poor people of China. And so if you were rich in China, you did not pay taxes. If you were poor in China, you did pay taxes. We're going to see this in one of our later topics on the French Revolution. But we know there's more poor people than rich people. So this greatly upset and angered the poor peasants of China who worked their butts off farming. You can see a picture from the Han Dynasty here of rice farmers. And when the millions and millions of people at the bottom get upset, you're going to have a problem if you're on top. Corruption. We talked about, with the rise of the Han Dynasty, this idea of meritocracy, that they valued talent over connections. Eventually, that went away, and the Han Dynasty started promoting family members, started promoting friends, instead of those who were most able to do the job. And so you had this series of inexperienced emperors who didn't know how to rule, didn't know what it meant to be a good leader, and chaos ensued. This is a picture of Ai Weiwei. He might be the most famous living Chinese artist right now. And it's a series of photos, and he's actually breaking a priceless vase from the Han Dynasty. This is like 2,000 years old that he's shattering. But his point here is that we can't rely on what people did in the past. we must create a better future together. All right. And he's actually been arrested and locked up by the Chinese government for his outspokenness in favor of democracy. On top of all of this, there was a massive, massive flood under the Han Dynasty, and millions of people lost their homes, millions of people lost their crops, and this kind of sent a signal to the people of China that the Han Dynasty had lost the mandate from heaven, that God no longer wanted their family to rule. And the poor farmers, the peasants, began to revolt, and there was a series of civil wars where other prominent families would rise up to try to take the mandate from heaven and take power. And eventually the Han Dynasty lost these series of wars. I don't know if you can see that picture, but in about 220 CE, so 220 years after Jesus, the Han Dynasty lost their power and another royal family took over in China. All right. So even though they did some great things that we looked at yesterday, the dynastic cycle held true to the Han Dynasty as well, where they rose to power, they did good things, then corruption and natural disaster hit. Your work today, I put it on the Google Classroom. It's a link for the fall of the Han Dynasty. And as always, kiddos, let me know if you need help. If you have any concerns or questions, reach out to me on Google Classroom or shoot me an email. Be well.